Very exciting.
You got video too, or just audio?
I think it's just going to be audio.
That's perfect. Put his picture.
But I believe what we prepared for this. So we prepared to. We're going to put his beautiful mug on the screen.
Please.
He is one Mr. Steve Lutz, the coach of Western Kentucky. Coach, can you hear us?
I got you guys. Can you hear me?
Look at this. We can hear you loud and clear.
If I could get
Lutz.
my headphones to work, we'd be in business.
Coach Lutz, this is Dave. I'm Matt's co-host. Do you need gas? Do we need to send you gas right now?
Well, we're back moving, so I think we're going to be okay.
Thank goodness.
We're 1.8 from the gas station. So we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
Where are you is a better question.
Man, the sign I just saw says Lebanon Junction in Boston. So I'm in the middle of Kentucky, and I mean, it's pretty. There's mountains everywhere, but the cell service stinks, fellas.
Well, thank you for doing this. I know it's a really busy week. You guys are playing Marquette coming up in the tournament. How has this year gone? You took Texas A&M Corpus Christi to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. You go to a Conference USA team at Western Kentucky. You end an 11-year drought for them to get them into the dance. What has this year been like?
Oh man, it's been a wild ride. I mean, obviously, an exciting one, but one that I had. Shoot, I don't know that you could have prepared for, because I walked into the job, and my family stayed back in Texas because my younger daughter was a senior in high school, and it would have been her third high school, and she wanted to graduate with her friends and finish her senior year. So I go up here, and man, I get a 2-bedroom apartment. I buy a bed. The furniture guy in town named Jason Wood, who's a great guy, he gives me a couch, I guess, that would sit 2 people, recliner, a nightstand, a dresser.
You're living the bachelor life, Coach.
No, I'm telling you, I got a 2-bedroom apartment, 2 baths, living out in the middle of nowhere, and my assistant coach lives next door to me. It's been an interesting deal.
Well, I was going to ask you about the family. How old are the kids?
So I have a daughter at Purdue who's a junior, and then I have a daughter who is 18. She's a senior in high school, and then I have a son who's 11. So
okay,
yeah,
so you're spread out. I have 3 daughters myself, so I understand keeping them back. But I mean, some people might perceive this as a little break. Like you're just there coaching. Are you laser focused all season? Because you ain't got to take nobody to practice, and you ain't got to pick up no kid. Like, this is a little bit of a break, no?
Yeah, I don't know that I would call it a break, but yeah, I guess I didn't have any laundry duties, and I didn't have to pick up the kids. But I mean, you miss all their stuff, and going home to a 2-bedroom apartment sounds great, but man, at the end of the night, it's not any fun.
It can be lonely as hell, right? Like I did that, actually. I left for 8 weeks. I went to West Virginia. I was in Vegas, and I went for a job, and I said, stay back, because they were in school, and I didn't want to mess them up. What's this week like for you with the kids? Like the family, nobody asked coaches about that. I'm always thinking about families because I'm such a family guy, but like, how do you get them to the, do you bring them to the game? Like, is everybody on the road with you this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, my daughter that's at Purdue, she works in the athletic department with the men's basketball team. So luckily we're all in Indy, right? So they left today as well. So we'll see her tonight. And then last week was spring break for my kids down in Texas, and they came up to the Conference USA tournament. And so they're on 2 weeks of spring break. So they're living life,
Beautiful. I spent 5 years in Huntsville, Coach. I don't know if you remember that or not, but before I moved to Omaha, where I met you when you were with the Blue Jays in Creighton.
Yep.
How was Huntsville? How did you guys like the Conference USA tournament?
Hey, you know what? Huntsville seems like a heck of a nice town. Now, I didn't get to enjoy it, but I know that everybody else that I talked to had a hell of a time. The downtown was nice.
Yeah.
We stayed at the Marriott by the Space City.
Yep.
Rocket City.
Yep.
And man, Rocket City's really cool. That the museum and all that kind of stuff. That's big time. It's big time. Now, I didn't get to experience it, but I know that the fans and we had a bunch of them there. They experienced downtown and probably drank a whole lot of cold beer and all that kind of stuff.
Are you going to have a lot of fans here at this game?
Yeah,
against
we
Marquette?
sold out obviously all of our tickets immediately, but they only give you 350. It's kind of a
Oh, okay.
it's kind of a crapshoot. But I'm sure that Indianapolis is only 3.5 hours, so I'm sure that we'll travel well. The people are certainly excited. There's no questions about it.
11-year drought. You guys were able to get back to the dance with Western Kentucky. As a head coach in this current NIL world, you're a guy with deep recruiting ties. You've recruited all over the country. But what is it like now to be a head coach in the current era that we're going through in college basketball?
Man, it's different. Every day is different. I'm really surprised, and I obviously haven't followed it, but I haven't really heard about it either. I'm surprised that there's not kids in the portal that are in the NCAA tournament right now.
Oh,
I'm
Well,
really surprised that that's not the
Coach,
case.
we were told yesterday that there are like behind closed
Oh
doors.
yeah, yeah. Behind the scenes,
Yeah.
there absolutely are. I mean, people have been recruiting my point guard Don McHenry for 4 months.
Oh,
wow.
how do
Yeah,
you handle that as a coach?
man. I just try to be honest with them and tell them straight up, like, hey, you need to be a part of this, and obviously when the season's over, we'll have an NIL conversation and try and up your money and all those sorts of things. Obviously you're not supposed to have that conversation directly, so it comes through the trust and or
Right.
the
Collective.
collective,
Yeah.
and ours is called the Red Tail Trust. That's why I said
Okay.
that. But yeah, so I just try to be upfront with them and tell him he's got to stay in the moment and stay present. And let's just be honest. I mean, the fact of the matter is if he's Conference USA, Player of the Year or whatever, and he goes to the NCAA tournament and drops 30, shoot, man, you're going to increase your NBA chances. So who cares about that little $500, or $5,000 or 50, that whatever that number is.
Right.
I'm making it up. So I just try to be honest and upfront with them all about it.
What is it like for you as a recruiter to have to be constantly recruiting your own players? Is that a
Oh,
weird play? Is that a weird way to be?
You know what? That's kind of what you've always done, anyways. I mean, you spend a lot of time with these guys, and I look at it as the same thing in that those guys they're not gonna play well for you unless they feel good about themselves. So you're constantly trying to keep them on edge, yet have them confident and feeling great about themselves, so that they're going to go out and they're going to play really, really well for you. So, you're not necessarily recruiting them to stay, but you're trying to get them to feel good about themselves. Well, if they're feeling good about themselves, then you got a great relationship with them, and you're going to get, you're going to have a better opportunity to get them to stay. So it all kind of ties in together. At least that's the way I handle it.
Coach, I went deep with the research, excited to talk to you. And I found this little nugget. You guys have the fastest pace of any team in the NCAA tournament. 76 possessions a game. What the hell is going on? Are you telling them run, 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 let's go?
Yeah, I mean, Matt was obviously following us at Creighton, and we played fast there as well. Um, we try to score in the first 12 seconds of the shot clock, and we try to create a lot of our offense through our defense. Now, does that always happen? No, but just like when we had Doug McDermott, Maurice Watson, those guys at Creighton, shoot, man, you've got to get that ball out of the net, and you got to get moving as quickly down the floor as you can, and try to score before the defense gets set. That's your best opportunity, and your highest percentage to score is scoring before the defense gets set.
So Coach McDermott obviously took on Marquette a couple of times this year in Shaka Smart. You calling Coach Mack at all? You having a scout with Coach Mack about the game coming up?
Yeah, no, of course. I call all those guys at Creighton and spoke to several in the Big East. So, yeah, I mean, Marquette's really good, though, guys. Golly, I mean, especially if they get Kolek back. I mean, they've got a chance to make a run in this tournament really, really deep. So we'll have our hands full. But, I've got a good group, and they're not scared. That's what I'll say about them. They're fighters, and they'll scrap, and they're going to compete. And I always just tell them, do your best, and then what happens at the end of the game, we'll be able to look ourselves in the mirror and say it's okay. But it should be a fun, entertaining, and I would think a very quick and fast-paced game.
I love it. Coach, yesterday Matt brought up an article. It talked about music and different things that you apparently were
coaches.
asked about pregame music. Matt, what was
Jimmy
Coach
Buffett?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely I'm a parrot head at heart. So like living down in Corpus had its positives, fellas. I mean, you're 15 minutes from the beach, and you know, there was a lot of Saturdays and Sundays that I just sat my pale white butt on that sand and listened to music and watched people and played with my kids and had beverages. I mean, I miss that part about it. But you know what's great about Bowling Green is that I'm an hour from Nashville.
Right.
So I've not had a chance to go but to a couple concerts.
You turned it into a country guy?
I like all of it, man. I like live music.
Okay.
And I like Nashville. I like being down there amongst all those people. Now it gets a little too crowded for me, but like earlier in the afternoon or during the dead period, you know, the lesser periods, I like it down there.
That's tremendous. Coach McDermott picked Jimmy Buffett too.
That one surprised me a little bit.
Did you turn him into a parrot head? Because I didn't think Coach Mack. Like, I was like, what's Mack doing listening to that?
Yeah, that kind of surprised me. I expected to get like some, I don't know, man, something a little older school, maybe some Boston or Queen or something from him, you know. But I can remember. This is a good story. I can remember recruiting Tyrus McGee. Tyrus McGee played at Iowa State. And I was at Creighton. We were in the Valley, and I was trying like heck to get Tyrus. We took a private plane to go see Tyrus McGee, and we left right after the workout to get back for Huey Lewis and the News because Mac had us tickets to Huey Lewis and the News.
Chip to be square.
Was it?
Coach?
I mean, it was at the Council Bluffs.
Was it was at the Council Bluffs. It was at the casino.
The Horseshoe. Yes.
Yeah,
the Horseshoe.
But dude, like in Omaha. Man, I've seen Jimmy Buffett a couple times. I've seen Bob Seger, Zach Brown. I mean, Omaha had good music back in the day, and they loved you in Omaha, so they'd let you get in a suite and all kinds of stuff.
Woo! Look at that.
I need that hookup in Nashville. If I get that, we're going to be rolling, fellas.
I love that. I need the last one for me before we let you go. I'm glad you got the gas, okay? But and I talked about it when my teenage daughter started driving. I had to almost pay them to fill the gas tank up before they returned the car. Okay. Yep. But I need something. Okay. The show's called Bostonian versus the Book. I've heard about the Creighton years, Matt's time in Omaha. Give me something that nobody knows
about me.
I need a little dirt right now for the listeners.
Oh, come on, I'll just tell you straight up. Like Matt was very controversial. I don't know how he is in Vegas now, but
really
very controversial.
A little controversial. I'm so surprised.
He'd go right at your head, and so you know we kind of go. McDermott goes from Iowa State, where Matt's on his neck, to Creighton, where I mean he treats him like he's the good Lord Jesus Christ all of a sudden. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like your wife where it goes from hot to cold or cold to hot and 0 to 60. And you're like, wait, what's going on here?
You can say whatever you want. You can tell this is,
but that's the truth. But Coach, you got there. But the whole story is when Dana left, a guy, an associate athletic director, called me and said, if you were going to hire one person to replace Dana, who would it be? And I said, Coach Mack. And he goes, good, we just did. I was like, perfect. So I was all in on Coach McDermott coming back to the Valley because things weren't working.
He just hated him for the Cyclones, man. He just didn't like him for the Cyclones.
Oh no, it wasn't that. It was that he was running a Northern Iowa offense in Iowa State. He had a playbook the size of a football playbook.
Hey, we had Doug McDermott, so we didn't have a playbook. We gave him the ball and got the heck out of the way.
Easy to be a coach when you got that, right? You just go ahead
exactly right.
You roll it out and say, Doug, go do it for us. All right, Coach, I'll let you go on this. If you guys are going to pull up a 15-2 upset and knock out Marquette, what has to happen?
We have to make sure that they don't come out and hit about 15 threes on us, which obviously is possible. We've got to do a good job of getting back in transition and limiting their easy opportunities because they're so fast. But then, obviously our pace of play is high as well, or fast as well. So we've got to get out in transition and get some easy ones and then crash the boards. But man, those prayer emojis, you got to put those up too as well. So it'll be a tough road, but like I say, man, we're going to compete hard and and give it our best. I know that.
Coach of Oakland said he liked the matchup with Kentucky. Do you like the matchup with Marquette? Did you look at that and go, okay, we can play this game?
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you get into the NCAA tournament, you like the matchup. Now, you also have to respect the opponent and know that those guys are capable of going on a Final Four run. But, yeah, you absolutely love the matchup. And, you know, I mean, they put their pants on the same way that we do, right? And
Yes.
the ball's still got to go through the basket, and your will's still got to be better than theirs. And we've been able to hang our hat on that all season long. So we can't get away from that. We've got to be us. There's no questions about it.
Coach, thank you for the time. This was really, really fun. Best of luck against Marquette. The whole brigade, our whole audience is going to be pulling for you guys. You just made a bunch of Western Kentucky fans throughout the entire country.
Yes,
thank you for coming on. I really appreciate your time.
Anytime, fellas.
Take care. That's Coach Steve Lutz of
Take care.
Western Kentucky joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. That